Oh, hi! Well, this is not my usual content since I usually talk about action figures, K pop, and some current issues. But what I'm gonna be doing today, the topic of my video today is to actually comment on two videos from a YouTuber. And that YouTuber is Nomadic Kitty. Nomadic Kitty is a YouTuber with 4,000 more than 4,000 subscribers, and she talks about K-pop, she talks about the industry, and apparently she's from the United States and she resides in the United States. I follow her. I I have engaged in some of her live streams, and I also comment in her videos. And I'd like to comment on I'd like to well, I guess since it's a lot of things, I'd like to comment on two videos that she made. The first is her video regarding fifth gen, wherein she says that she feels that she feels fifth gen to be dumb, empty, and talentless. And the second video is that in terms of fans treating male idols like babies. So those are two videos. But it's not because I disagree. And first, for the first video on with regards to fifth gen, it is my discourse on disagreeing on it. And second video is to give a little bit more context in terms of male idols in Asia. But so I'm just gonna be combining those two videos. But gonna be combining my two takes on this. First off, fifth gen. Okay, fifth gen of K-pop fifth gen. So for people who have been watching me, the few people that have been watching me, we're currently at the supposed fifth gen of K-pop. Now, I guess the timelines is pretty short. Timelines are pretty put together. So like, they're going to be there's like a few. It depends. Generations are some generations would last around 5-6 years. Some generations less than that. Okay. Now, actually, some people are saying we're coming into sixth gen already, which is pretty weird because, not really technically speaking, but fifth gen actually people are saying that fifth gen started in 2023. So that would just be around 3 years. Fourth gen is said to have started in 2019, while third gen started in 2012, 2013, all the way up to 2019. So that puts a span of around 7 years. While fourth gen, if we're gonna be saying that fourth gen really started in 2023, then that's just basically 21, 22, that's roughly around 3 to 4 years. Oh, 4 to 5 years max. And fifth gen is just entering it. If you're gonna use the fifth gen timeline of 2023, then it's just entering its third year this year for third gen. So I wonder how it's gonna be at sixth gen. But then again, Nomadic Kitty was talking about fifth gen in terms of talent, in terms of not the talents themselves not really knowing their music and also with regards to AI and technology. But first off, I'd like to also first say that it's a little bit of with most people, there's this thing called recency bias when they talk about the new things being better. But we should also consider there's this thing called primacy bias, wherein the first thing or what is in their time was better. There are many a times when we have heard people, especially for other genres, saying, or even in K-pop genre, saying that, oh, third gen was better, or when I was in the 90s, music was music, bands in the 80s, bands in the 90s were a lot more technical than bands right now. But then again, we should also remember that with regards to the generations, we should also look into number one, in terms of scope, in terms of technology, in terms of how society was. Because you have to remember that third gen, if we will be following third gen, who started in 2022 or 2013, 2012 or 2013, and it's 2026 now. So that's basically a 12 to 14-year difference. Yeah, 13 to 14-year difference from the time they debuted until now. So you're talking about groups that are already in their 30s or at least in their late 20s. So you're talking about a time for them to mature, to learn about their craft. Because I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna sit on this hill, that those third gen groups that started, which some examples would be Twice, EXO, BTS, Blackpink, that when they started their careers in K-pop, they didn't even know what they're doing as well. I mean, they had those influences, but then again, we're talking about them starting out. So if you're gonna be, if when Nomadic Kitty was saying that some of them don't know the music that they were performing, well, first off, what they know are the third gen. What the fifth gen people now are performing, or what the fifth gen girls are or guys are performing, or at least following as their template, were the third gen, especially for fifth gen idols right now. And we also have to know that K-pop is a business. We should also remember that when third gen came in, it's the start of their globalization. I'm from Asia. I'm Asian. I'm Filipino, and I was the one that if you remember Nomadic Kitty, I was the one that commented on the Philippines, and you were saying that we know how to party. Yes, we do. The thing there is that you can't put third gen who has already had 14 years to mature, learn their craft, learn new things, and then compare them to a new group which is just starting, which is just, actually, I don't really think that they're even fifth gen. I think that fifth gen started in 2024, not 2023. Actually, that's my own take. But you're talking about a group or a generation that has had more than 10 years already. And aside from that, you're talking about a fan base that started the globalization thing of K-pop, wherein it started clicking. Third gen is where people started knowing about Blackpink, Twice. During my time when I started listening to K-pop in occasionally in second gen, wherein there was the Wonder Girls. In the Philippines, at least in my country, the thing that went big was Super Junior Sorry Sorry. I'm not sure if you're even familiar with that. Super Junior Sorry Sorry, Super Juniors It's You, 21 because Dara grew up in the Philippines, and Wonder Girls, Nobody, right? Right? So it became a thing, but then again, it was still a niche thing. Not everybody are still into it. Then came third gen, right? Now, if you're a businessman who wants to capitalize on the business, you would always have to follow what they were doing, right? You look at them at the template. Okay, so they did this, and now that they're coming into since K-pop is already a market in itself, then we have to ride on that market, because I mean, K-pop is not a charity, and unlike no, even in the music industry, why are there trends, right? I grew up listening to glam rock, and why is there no glam rock anymore, right? Why are rappers who used to be in who used to be like, I'm not sure if Bobby Brown is a rapper. My rap game is very bad. But then again, you've got guys like LL Cool J in those really colorful outfits. Why are they not doing that now? I mean, well, Takeshi, yeah, but then again, it's different generations, and you're talking about, and a lot of K-pop fans are looking at it in a sense, in a primacy bias on, oh, they used to be that good before, they never lip sync before. No, they were just doing the same thing. It just so happens that they had 10 years, over 10 years to mature, to grow. Because right now it's just fourth gen starting to learn their craft, learn to mature. Fourth gen groups like La Seraphim, they're starting to put in Vogue into their music, right? With Crazy. So there is the formula that starts. It is the formula. There is a formula. K-pop has always had a formula. Even third gen. Army might kill me for this, but BTS didn't start as BTS now. Just like what Vernon used to say, that when they started, BTS wasn't what BTS is now. So if for people who always say that fifth gen is useless, well, first off, personally, I kind of checked out at fourth gen after ITZY. So I honestly missed out on groups like Stacy, some groups like Stacy, and I'm a girl group stan. So because for me, Big Bang will always be that group, and Super Junior will always be that big group. So I do have to admit primacy bias on my end for those two groups. I even think Big Bang and SNS and Super Junior are still the groups, because I mean, other groups would it's just either a template of either or a combination of each of those two groups for me. I mean, just that's personally. That doesn't include groups like TVSQ or the other groups like Shiny. If you add that together, there is talent, but then it's just, I guess I'm defending fifth gen in the sense that there is talent in fifth gen. I am a fifth gen. I mean, I got heavy into K-pop with fifth gen, not fourth gen, fifth gen. I did. I mean, fourth gen got it back in the sense that, oh, I remember. Oh, there's K-pop. But I'm a big fan of fifth gen. With especially that I'm a glit. I'm an Islet fan. I love their music. Even if I'm into metal, I love their music. I love the whimsical part of their music. How can that, and now you're gonna, then how can they say that it's repetitive? The concept in itself. Even with New Jeans. New Jeans came in with Y2K. I mean, you have your sister-in-law Jennifer, right? I don't know who she is. I only hear you mentioning her a lot, but it's just that if he's checking out on K-pop in the fifth gen, well, that's her decision. That's her opinion. But then again, you're comparing 10-year pros to 2 to 3 year rookies. It's just like saying that my favorite player was Vin Baker, and then now I'm not a fan of Kyle Kuzma. Or okay, Kyle Kuzma ain't that big. I'm not a fan of Laurie Markkinen, or right? It's just like old basketball fans saying, "Oh, in my generation we hurt each other," or "In my generation we had real talent." It's just a change of skill, but in K-pop it's actually not. It's a business. There are a lot more K-pop groups now because they know that K-pop is making money else and worldwide. So they will use that algorithm. The technology is there, so why not use it? They do know that the current generation, the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, has shorter attention spans, which is why there is TikTok, which led to shorter attention spans, which needs them to do more viral things to market it. If anything, there is the with YouTube and those bands like there's this band like Chrissy Costanza, right? Against the Current, I think that group. Please correct me for people who watch it. If it weren't for YouTube, we wouldn't know who she is. Especially when they were doing covers. Alex Good, Boyce Avenue. They were using that medium to open up their careers. The same way we will be using the algorithm, because it's there. It's there to make it's there. K-pop is a business. And you're talking about a generation, the third generation, wherein K-pop was just starting to globalize. So now that it has already reached that point where being a K-pop fan isn't cringe anymore in Western countries. There's already a way for them to see if it makes money or not. I'm not defending that part. I'm not defending that. I'm also not defending the use of AI, but I'm not a musician, so they can talk about whatever they can. It's a different art, it's a different conversation. But my point is, I think it's pretty unfair to say that fifth gen feels dumb or talentless when you just started recently, and when you started BTS already being big, right? So I find that a bit unfair for fifth gen. And yes, I'm defending fifth gen because I got heavy into K-pop with fifth gen, being an Islet fan, and I'm an Islet fan, but that doesn't mean I don't like the other groups. I'm also a Baby Monster fan. I just don't like the fandom. I'm a big Baby Monster fan. And granted, yes, their hip-hop knowledge or their hip-hop, I guess they need to learn more about hip-hop. They need to learn more about the genre they're in. But you're talking about 19, 18, 20, 13, 16, 15-year-olds. Chiquita started at 15 or even younger. So they need to mold and learn their craft. And they are learning their craft. Supa Dupa Love is already them evolving. You're talking about Islet, who is in a Dreamcore concept. You don't grow up knowing about the Dreamcore concept. Like Wonhee did her auditions to Hype Boy. Right? I will tell you right now, even fourth gen aren't even that sure of their own concept themselves. I'd stand on that hill. So I guess my point is, give fifth gen a chance, because fifth gen is barely 3 years old, and you're talking about a group that has already matured, a generation that has already matured. There's even fourth gen in between third and fifth gen. Fourth gen that's starting to mature, that's starting to build their own discography. They're learning things. I will always put Le Seraphim in it, that they're starting to learn things. They're putting Vogue. I mean, the fact that they even thought of putting Afrobeats and Vogue in there is already something that they're learning. Right? And that's already starting to push boundaries. They're gonna be pushing boundaries already. Fifth gen is just basically starting. If you're putting New Jeans as start of fifth gen, okay, actually, because people are saying, and even in your comments are saying that fifth gen was actually manufactured to push Zero Base One. I would still think that I personally would think that fourth gen ended with New Jeans, because at this point, not many groups are doing Y2K. Well, they will say that everybody copies them, but fifth gen is now characterized as something softer than fourth gen, because a lot of fourth gen groups started with Girl Crush, but now they're starting to evolve. While fifth gen started on something more of a cutie concept, except for Baby Monster, who started really bad, which is templating it from Blackpink. Right? So I would just say it's pretty unfair that you would put you would say that fifth gen is talentless and dumb, but you're I mean, have you heard Ion sing? Have you seen how, well, my groups that I listen to, have you seen Ahoff perform? Have you seen To Us start with plot twist? Those are talent. Though that's talent. Have you seen, well, eyelets? If you're a dancer, you'd know how synchronized eyelet is. Have you seen have you seen how Baby Monster? I mean, yeah, Baby Monster. Have you seen them rap? Okay, that might be different. But have you seen Meow mix performance and oh so glamorous visuals in a performance? All Day Project. Have you seen Bailey dance? I mean, that's talent. Let them brew. Let them brew just like wine. Let them age and let them build their taste. Just like coffee, let them brew. And I do hope that as a fifth gen fan, I do hope that you can give fifth gen a chance because they're just barely 3 years old. There is the algorithm, but then again, it's 2026. It is what it is. It is the industry. K-pop is a business. And I'm not shading you in any way. I'm a big fan of your videos. It's just that I think it's unfair to be calling fifth gen as that and people who would say fifth gen is useless. Well, it's just been 3 years. And guess what? You grew up on something which is just starting, right? You grew up on third gen or people who went into fourth gen. It's you're talking about rookies. You're comparing a veteran to a rookie. And I guess it's pretty long. So I'll be talking about the other video. I'll be talking about the male idols and other idols in another video. But this is I love your work, Nomadic Kitty. I love your videos. I love your takes. It's just that please give fifth gen a chance.